No, go
I
ahead.
wanted to talk about that alien shit, that like paper mache alien they're like talking about out of Mexico. That shit looks ridiculous. I would have faked an alien 10 times better. 10 times better than that. You think the whole body's going to be there? You think it's going to look like literal paper mache? It still has little fingers. The whole skeleton's there.
So
it's
what
absurd.
they were saying, the idea that they had a mummified body, if we're getting past the idea that aliens are real, wasn't the weird thing to me. And it was like, okay, maybe if they had one for a long time, they said it was like 1,000 years old, like maybe some ancient people mummified a fucking alien and here it is. But then they turned the camera a little and you saw that its face was just so weirdly shaped. It looked like it had been 3D printed. And it's not rounded off yet. It's like a 2-dimensional like JPEG or something. And it
pull a picture of that up, Zach, if you can.
And then they showed the X-ray, and the X-ray is an X-ray that got debunked like years and years ago. It's the same X-ray of
they mirrored the image, Kyle. Totally
they
different.
mirrored the image, which is a dead giveaway that you're pulling my fucking yank. Look, I want to believe in aliens.
Flew one
come down
Mexico.
Do you know who Brian Cox is? Are you familiar with that name?
Oh yeah,
Brian. You remember him?
Physicist.
The actor?
No, he's a physicist. He's been on the
Jerry,
which is a popular
with curly hair.
podcast.
The British guy with curly black hair.
Yes,
maybe it's not super straight, the black hair, but in any case,
he's a cool guy. He's good at explaining stuff.
He's really good at explaining stuff, and he just has this cadence and temperament that clicks with me. And I asked him what he thought of the aliens, and he said the odds that this alien would be humanoid are so infinitesimal. You know, that people are making these props in our own image, but if we were to really discover extraterrestrial life, it wouldn't look just like us.
It would be a cephalopod or some shit, you know? Like that's I don't know if you've ever seen, I think it might be Arrival. I bet it's not. It's Contact or something. I'm spacing on the name of the movie. It came out a few years ago, and the cephalopod aliens came down in their weird, like half moon shaped ship. And they try to communicate with them. You know, that's the whole premise of the movie, is the communication going back and forth with them, trying to find some common ground. They're not going to look like us. They're probably not going to be walking around.
There is no fucking way that's an alien.
Yeah.
They might be in a big tank of water or some shit, or they might be like always in like some goo, like a big fucking a snail person. Who fucking knows?
Yeah. What if they're like sea, kind of like a mermaid or something like that? What if they don't even live terrestrially? They've got cities underground. Like, we don't know. But to think that they've got like fingers and a little nose with 2 nostrils.
See,
like,
no, I disagree with that. I don't think that, maybe I'm being closed-minded here, but I think you need hands and fingers if you're going to evolve to anything. Look, okay, a tentacle could work, maybe, but I think you need more dexterous tentacles than like our cephalopods have. You need some sort of, there are 72 bones, I think, roughly in our hands. This thing is really good at what it does do. Like, watch some professional musician play. Like we're so good at this, and this is what lets us do so much of what we do.
The alien in Independence Day, the one Will Smith punched in the head, it had a very different, it was almost like every finger was an arm, and they all seem to have the same dexterity that we do. And I'm like, that looks even better.
Perhaps, but I don't know. It seems weird to me that you'd still be like semi-aquatic and working with electrical stuff. Like, maybe they're powered by something else. But
I didn't think of that.
Again, probably just being real close-minded. And it's like, well, their blood's fucking copper-based, not iron-based, dummy. They're silicon life forms. There's so many different things they could be. They could be non-corporeal life forms, right? Something that's not even in a physical body. They're just a floating aura of energy that's sentient, that can communicate somehow.
Oh, we're in big trouble if that's the case.
Are we? Because I got a microwave that's probably basically hell to them.
It's just going to phase right through the fucking...
That's what
I have
a Faraday cage. It's meant...
I will fuck them up with a... They're not...
It's like signs where they're like, we didn't account for the wind. Like, they just blow away. Instead of signs, that's more understandable than not signing for water. We've got you, Chris. We got you back.
Well, I had some kind of audio thing going on there, but it's sorted now. But yeah, I mean, the alien question is just fascinating because, like you said, I mean, I didn't catch all that conversation, but I mean, just mathematically speaking, there's so many planets and worlds out there on the order of trillions that it seems mathematically impossible that we're the only ones there. But per your point with the humanoid type thing, yes, evolutionarily speaking, yeah, there could be other versions. Just look at our own animals in our own animal kingdom. But, certainly manipulating technology, things with, traveling, that kind of stuff, a liquid based culture would not necessarily travel that well, for example, or tentacles don't really manipulate triggers and hand tools and wheels and all the things. These creatures would have presumably evolved the same way that we did, with hand tools and clubs and stone wheels and things like that. So evolutionarily speaking,
I'm trying to think about this and not miss something, but seems to me that you need to be able to forge metal at some point with heat. And if you live underwater, that's just never going to happen. You're never going to take iron ore that you get out of the bottom and melt it, because it's just a foreign fucking concept. Anything hot enough to boil water,
Oh yeah. Or like you mentioned, silicone based life forms. I mean, water itself could be extremely poisonous to a lot of different organisms. I mean, when you look at hydrogen is very reactive, oxygen is very reactive. It is a universal solvent in a way. I mean, there's a lot of scenarios where presumably some sort of life form would be very harmed by water, for example, or and then when you get into sizes and stuff like that, I mean, obviously we have, whales and elephants and really big animals, but in general, if we've got some sort of a, respiratory based body, breathing, that sort of thing, you're going to have to be a certain size to where either your weight is not a hindrance with the gravity that you have, or able to breathe. You've got to have enough lung space to oxygenate or carbonate or whatever chemical your body needs. So, I mean, there are going to be probably some similarities. You get into that Star Trek, Star Wars model of a bunch of extras wearing suits. They're all about 5'11" with arms, but at the same time, it's a pretty good model. And just based on the toolkit of elements that we have to work with, certain life forms are going to require the same sort of sizes in order to work. You can't be too big. You can't breathe or stand up under your own weight unless your bones are made out of carbon fiber or something like that. And if you don't have the right appendages,
but for sure, 100% for sure, those paper mache things they wheeled out in Mexico are fake. That's because look silly.
I know that's not.
There's candy in that fucking alien. I guarantee it.
It took all the press, but at the same time, they discovered that a planet probably has life on it, real recently. I think it's Kepler 22b. I might be fucking that up.
Yeah, it kind of
this thing
rotates or something.
So there's a couple things about it here. It's 15% larger than Earth. So it's right in that, if size is important, the gravity is going to be comparable to Earth. All right, boom. Its normal temperature is 6 degrees Celsius. What is that, about 40 degrees Fahrenheit? Something like that? That's
probably.
40 degrees Fahrenheit is the thing that can sustain life. They say it has water on it. And then there are gases that they've discovered that are the byproduct of life. I forget if it's methane or something else, but they think, there's carbon dioxide, which is, a breathing type thing. And they think shit's exhaling on this planet. So maybe.
How far away is this one?
Super far. Here, I'll look.
Was it 142 light years? Yeah, in case anyone's wondering how you can look at something and tell what it's made out of, it's what color light is coming back. It's they're able to tell what elements are present with that.
That's in line with what I
radio
saw.
Telescopes.
Yeah, and traveling some of these distances, and I can't remember who I was watching. It was Brian Cox or Neil deGrasse Tyson or Michio Kaku or some other interesting physicist or astrophysicist. But they were talking, or maybe it was Veritaserum or Vsauce or something. But anyway, they were talking about traveling to these different star systems. And it's not just as simple as putting a big ass motor on the back of a ship. To accelerate a human body up to the speed of light and then slow it back down at a rate where the G-forces did not just turn us into jello would take most of a normal human lifetime just to get up to that speed. In order to travel to these kind of distances, it would have to be some sort of wormhole or space-time or
warp
some
drive.
Type of warp drive or some sort of cryo freeze where we wake up 2,000 years later. Just the physics alone of accelerating our body.
That's what we need, man.
Find some solution. Yeah, exactly. But
I want that cryo
some
freeze
solution to overcome mass, essentially, because the mass of our own body would be its hindrance as we accelerated and decelerated. So it's fascinating just to look at the numbers and watch this kind of stuff. And
can you imagine getting there and it's shit? Getting there, and like an asteroid hit it the week before you arrived, and it's just on fire. The whole
also like they don't like the light has taken so long to get here. Couldn't you like get on the way there, and then the light finally arrives, showing that it was destroyed, and it's like, oh no,
it could not be there.
So 1,000 years ago, it blew up, and we started our whole project, and now we're way too far in the midst of it. Like, I just woke up out of cryo sleep, and it's not there.
That's fascinating to me. So this particular planet, I looked it up, is 587 light years away. So
never mind.
I mean, kind of far, but not like it's the stuff where that's 22 million light years away. It's interesting.
That's another galaxy.
You're looking into the past, right? That light, there could be stars out there where we're waiting for the first light to hit us. There could be stars out there shining at us that actually have been dead for 15 million years. And they'll keep shining at us for 7 more million years.
Most of the stars we see at night aren't still there. Like that, I had a girl one time try to sell me on the whole astrology thing, and and not that I'm not willing to believe in magic or some force that means that I'm born in September, so therefore I don't get along with people born in January or do good in business. But like, it's like, just tell me it's magic. I'll believe that rather than you telling me that some ball of light out in the space that's not even there anymore, based on the positions it was relative to the moon the day I was born, is somehow going to determine whether I'm an asshole or not. Like, I'd rather believe the magic of it than you tell me.
Why would our relative position to those stars have any basis on what on them telling you anything? Are you telling me that astrology is completely different if you live on a different fucking planet? They got a whole different astrology system there because their stars.
They have to. They'd see different stars.
God,
Kyle, this is in wild conflict with your circumcision views.
Snippet, boys. All right.
See, here's the thing. If Christopher, say that Kyle says circumcision is the right move because if there are any girls who are turned off, then you should have it because it opens doors for you. In my mind, Kyle should get into horoscopes because these chicks are into it, and if it gets your wet. If it gets your stick wet, you should line up with these views. Drop your principles, Kyle. That's what I'm telling you.
That's just
evolution. There's more pussy in going into horoscopery or whatever that shit is called.
Horoscopery.
Whatever I'm into now. I just really find that to be so like. Come on, you look stupid if you're into astrology. Like if you think that,
dude, so many girls love that shit.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay to be into fantasy. Like I love all sorts of fantasy worlds.
But you guys should become horoscope fucking whores.
I'll do that. I'll be like, oh, I was unbelievably rude because I'm a Taurus. I forgot to text you back because I'm a Taurus.
What is your?
I can't pay for dinner. I'm a Taurus. That means I'm bullheaded. I don't know.
Yeah, I always just tell them that Virgos don't believe in astrology.
Yeah.
I like that.
But